Episode 5 Crossing Oceans. Avery's point of view. The moment was finally here. Avery stood in the airport, a single bag slung over her shoulder, her heart pounding with anticipation and nerves. The idea of flying halfway across the world to meet Kaya, someone she had only ever known through texts and late-night calls, felt surreal. As the plane took off, the vastness of the ocean below mirrored the distance she had felt between them for so long. But with every passing mile, that distance shrank, and the reality of meeting Kaya grew closer. Avery found herself lost in thought during the flight. What would Kaya be like in person? Would she be as warm, as comforting as she seemed through their words? Or would the reality be too overwhelming, too different from the image she had built in her mind? Avery had never taken a risk like this before, and though her excitement was palpable, the fear of the unknown loomed in the back of her mind. As the flight landed, Avery's hands trembled as she grabbed her bag. Stepping off the plane and into the bustling Paris airport was a sensory overload. Voices, announcements, people moving in every direction. And then, through the crowd, she saw her, Kaya, standing with a nervous smile on her face, looking exactly as Avery had imagined and yet entirely different at the same time. Their eyes met, and for a moment, the world fell away. Kaya's POV. Kaya's heart had been in her throat all day. She had spent hours wandering the streets of Paris to calm her nerves, but nothing seemed to help. Meeting Avery felt like a leap into the unknown, and while she had always considered herself fearless, this moment was different. There was so much at stake, and for the first time, Kaya wasn't sure if she was ready. Standing in the crowded airport, Kaya's mind raced. What if it wasn't the same in person? What if the connection they'd built couldn't survive the weight of reality? Kaya had spent months imagining what it would be like to finally see Avery, but now that the moment was here, doubt crept in. But then she saw her, Avery, stepping into the terminal, looking around with wide eyes. Kaya's breath caught. She hadn't been prepared for how real it would feel, seeing Avery in the flesh after all this time. She waved awkwardly, her smile hesitant, but hopeful. As Avery approached, every fear Kaya had melted away, replaced by a flood of emotion she hadn't anticipated. Avery's POV. As she reached Kaya, Avery felt her knees wobble. They stood in front of each other, neither knowing what to say. Words had always come so easily between them online, but now, in person, it felt like they were strangers again. "Hi," Kaya said softly, her voice barely audible over the noise of the airport. It was a simple greeting, but it was everything. Hearing Kaya's voice in person sent a wave of warmth through Avery. "Hi," Avery replied, her smile breaking through the nerves. The tension between them dissolved as they shared a quiet laugh, the awkwardness giving way to a sense of familiarity. And then, without thinking, they embraced. It wasn't a grand gesture, just a simple hug, but it was enough. In that moment, Avery knew that everything would be okay, that whatever happened next, they could face it together. Kaya's POV. As they left the airport together, Kaya couldn't help but feel a lightness she hadn't expected. The city of Paris buzzed around them, but in that moment, it felt like they were the only two people in the world. Walking side by side with Avery, Kaya realized just how much she had been missing. The walk to Kaya's apartment was filled with easy conversation, their voices mingling with the sounds of the city. Kaya led the way, pointing out her favorite cafes, the best spots for street art, the places where she found inspiration for her paintings. Avery listened with wide eyes, taking it all in. It felt like they had known each other for years. Avery's POV. Paris was more vibrant than Avery had ever imagined, but none of it compared to being with Kaya. As they reached Kaya's apartment, Avery felt a sense of calm settle over her. The city, the crowds, the noise, it all faded into the background. What mattered now was that they were together. Inside the apartment, Kaya hesitated for a moment, glancing at Avery. "I hope you like it here," she said softly, her voice filled with uncertainty. Avery smiled, her heart full. I already do. On the next episode, Only Fate. As Avery and Kaya begin to explore their new reality together, they realize that love is more than just words. It's actions, choices, and sometimes sacrifices. Will the bond they've built